Chief Williams did not fall gently. He crashed onto the interlocking tiles like a heavy bag of cement, his expensive white caftan spreading out like a spilled cloth. His red traditional cap rolled away and stopped near the black SUV. For 1 second, the whole mansion compound went silent, so silent that even the sound of the fountain at the corner felt too loud. Then, Theresa dropped on him. Not by mistake, not by slipping. She sat on him like a judge sitting on a guilty man, her oversized body pinning his shoulders down. Chief Williams' eyes widened in horror, the way a lion looks when it suddenly realizes it has been trapped. "No, no, Theresa, stop," he shouted, trying to push her off. But Theresa leaned closer, her face calm and cold. Her voice was not loud, it was worse than loud. It was final. "Today will be the last day you ever try to humiliate any woman," she said. Chief Williams, the billionaire CEO, everyone feared Chief Williams, who slapped grown men at work and made women shake just by clearing his throat, was now crying like a child. "Help! Somebody help me!" he screamed, his voice breaking. The domestic staff stood frozen under the bright morning sun. They did not run. They did not even breathe well, because for the first time in this mansion, they were watching the most shocking thing they had ever seen. The feared Chief Williams was being humbled by his own wife, and the scariest part was not the way Theresa held him down. It was the look in her eyes. It looked like she had been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. Theresa tightened her grip on his wrists, pushing his hands down the way a police officer would. Chief Williams kicked his feet, trying to twist free, but his strength meant nothing now. His face turned red, his expensive wristwatch scratched against the tiles. His voice went from angry to panicked, then to weak. "Theresa, please, I'm sorry, he cried. And Theresa did not move. She did not smile. She did not shout. She only stared at him with a hard, unblinking look, like someone who had watched evil for too long and had finally decided to end it. Behind them, the black SUV stood ready, its engine already humming. Chief Williams's security men were just a few steps away near the gate. The maids in black and white uniforms, the cooks, the gardeners, everyone stood like statues. Some of them held their hands over their mouths. Some of them shook as if they were the ones being pinned to the ground. One young maid named Esther whispered, Is this real?" Another staff member, an older gatekeeper, trembled and said, Don't talk. If he gets up, he will finish all of us." But Chief Williams was not getting up. Not yet. Theresa leaned closer again and spoke softly, like a mother correcting a stubborn child. "You think you can raise your hand at any woman because you have money?" she asked. "You think wives are punching bags? You think staff are toys?" Chief Williams' eyes darted around the compound, desperate. He saw fear on every face, and that was when something strange happened. For the first time, he saw his own fear reflected back at him. That was when he realized that the people around him had been living inside that fear for years. And now, for the first time, the fear had changed owner. Theresa's voice grew sharper. "You slapped your staff yesterday." Chief Williams's lips trembled. I didn't mean. You slapped your first wife until she ran away." Theresa continued, her eyes never leaving his face. Chief Williams swallowed hard, sweat pouring down his forehead. "You beat your second wife until she packed her clothes at midnight," Theresa said. Chief Williams squeezed his eyes shut. "And your third wife?" Theresa paused, and the compound felt colder, even though the sun was bright. "Your third wife had to escape like a prisoner." At the mention of the third wife, the staff shifted uneasily. They all remembered that night, the shouting, the smashed glass, the way the woman ran out barefoot, holding her own cheeks, eyes wide like someone who had seen death. Theresa's voice dropped again. "And now you wanted to do it to me because of a document." Chief Williams' voice came out small. "I was angry. I was just angry." Theresa nodded slowly. "Yes, you were angry. That is your favorite excuse." She adjusted her position, and Chief Williams groaned as her weight pressed him down more. He whimpered, "Please, Theresa, please." But Theresa did not look like someone who was listening to please anymore. Then Chief Williams's security chief, Mr. Leckie, finally moved forward. He stepped closer, hands half raised, not sure what to do. His eyes were wide. He had protected Chief Williams for 7 years, but he had never seen him like this. "Madam," Mr. Leckie said carefully, "please, should we help him?" Theresa turned her head slowly and stared at him. The way she stared made Mr. Lecker freeze like a boy caught stealing. Theresa spoke without shouting. "If you touch me, you will lose your job today." Mr. Lecker's hands dropped. He looked at Chief Williams on the ground, then looked away quickly, like he was ashamed to look at his boss. Chief Williams yelled, "Lecker, are you mad? Help me!" But Mr. Lecker did not move. And that was when the compound shook with something more powerful than shouting. It was not Theresa's strength. It was not her size. It was the fact that nobody was rushing to save Chief Williams. Even the staff who feared him looked like they were tired of the fear. Theresa turned back to Chief Williams. "You wanted to slap me in front of your staff," she said. "So let them watch." Chief Williams's voice cracked. "Theresa, I'm your husband." Theresa leaned in so close he could smell the light perfume on her skin. Her eyes stayed hard. "And you were beating your other wives too. Were they not your wives?" Chief Williams opened his mouth, but no words came out. Theresa raised her hand slightly, not to slap him, but to point a finger right in his face. "This is the last time you will ever raise your hand at any woman," she said. "If you try it again, you will learn a lesson you will never forget." Chief Williams started crying openly now. His tears rolled down his cheeks and mixed with dust on the tiles. His voice broke as he whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Theresa slowly stood up, letting him breathe again. Chief Williams coughed and rolled to the side, grabbing his chest. He sat up quickly, eyes blazing with shame and anger, looking around the compound like he wanted to punish somebody for watching. The staff quickly lowered their eyes, but Theresa stepped forward and blocked his view. "Don't even try it," she warned. Chief Williams froze. His hand twitched at his side, as if his body still remembered the habit of slapping. His eyes flashed. He was fighting himself, fighting his old self. The compound held its breath, because everyone knew Chief Williams. They knew how he reacted when he was embarrassed. They knew his pride. They knew his temper. And they knew that a man like that never forgave humiliation. Chief Williams slowly stood up, adjusting his kaftan, picking up his red cap from the tiles. His hands shook slightly as he brushed dust off his clothes. He forced a smile, but it looked fake and dangerous. Then he looked at Theresa and spoke in a low voice that only she could hear. "You have made a big mistake," he said. Theresa did not flinch. She stepped closer and answered calmly, "No, Chief, the mistake was yours, and you have been making it for years." Chief Williams's jaw tightened. Then he turned his head sharply and barked at his security men, "Get the car ready." The SUV door opened quickly. Chief Williams walked toward it, but his steps were not steady. His pride was trying to stand taller than his body. Just before he entered the car, he paused and looked back at the staff. His eyes moved from face to face, like he was counting them, like he was remembering who watched him fall. His voice was quiet, but it made the air feel heavy. "All of you," he said, "remember this morning." The staff went cold. Theresa's eyes narrowed. Chief Williams climbed into the SUV. The door slammed shut, and as the car started to move, Theresa felt it in her bones. This was not over, not even close, because Chief Williams did not just fear being defeated, he feared losing control. And the moment a man like that loses control, he does not change easily. Sometimes, he fights back in a way nobody expects. The black SUV rolled out of the compound, disappearing through the gate. Theresa stood alone on the interlocking tiles, the sunlight bright on her face, while the staff watched her like she was something new, something dangerous, something brave. But Theresa's chest rose and fell slowly, because deep inside, she knew something the staff did not know. She had not just embarrassed Chief Williams, she had wounded his pride. And Chief Williams was the kind of man who could do anything to protect his pride. Theresa stared at the gate where the car had disappeared. Then she whispered to herself, almost like a warning, "Let him try." The phone slipped from Theresa's hand and fell onto the bed. She stared at it like it was still speaking. Her heart beat hard in her chest, slow and heavy, the way it does when danger is close but not yet visible. Outside the bedroom window, the mansion lights glowed softly. Everything looked calm, too calm. Theresa bent down, picked up the phone, and checked the number again. Unknown. She swallowed. "Who are you?" she asked quietly, bringing the phone back to her ear. There was silence for a moment. Then the woman's voice returned, shaking. "My name is Aisha," the voice said. I was one of Madame Rose's friends. Theresa's fingers tightened around the phone. Madame Rose, Chief Williams's second wife, the one who left the mansion at night and never returned. Theresa sat slowly on the bed. What do you mean he has started again? She asked. Aisha sniffed. I shouldn't have called. I know what kind of man he is, but when I heard what you did this morning, when I heard you stood up to him, her voice broke. I knew you were different. Theresa closed her eyes. Talk to me, she said gently. Aisha took a deep breath. After he left the house this morning, he went straight to the office. He was angry, very angry. He called for a meeting. Theresa felt a cold feeling crawl up her back. What kind of meeting? She asked. All staff, managers, cleaners, drivers, Aisha said. He said he wanted everyone present. Theresa stood up. Her feet touched the cold marble floor. And? She asked. And someone spoke, Aisha said. A young female staff. She asked about unpaid salaries. Theresa's jaw tightened. What did he do? She asked, already knowing the answer. Aisha's voice dropped to a whisper. He slapped her. Hard. In front of everyone. Theresa's chest burned. He told them that nobody humiliates him and goes free, Aisha continued. He said no woman would ever control him. Theresa felt her hands shake. And then... Aisha paused. And then what? Theresa pressed. He said your name, Aisha said. Theresa froze. He said, if you think what happened this morning will change me, you are all fools. The room felt smaller. Theresa walked to the window and stared down at the quiet compound. The staff quarters were dimly lit. Somewhere, a generator hummed softly. Aisha continued, Madam Theresa, I'm afraid for you. Theresa laughed softly, but there was no joy in it. You don't need to be afraid for me, she said. Be afraid for him. Aisha gasped softly. Please, be careful. The line went dead. Theresa lowered the phone and stood still for a long time. So this was it. Chief Williams was fighting back, not with fists at home, but with fear outside. She walked slowly to the mirror and looked at her reflection. Her face was calm, but her eyes were different now. They were steady. She remembered the stories she had heard before marrying Chief Williams, how people warned her, how friends asked, Are you sure? How even her own cousin said, Men like that don't change. Theresa had smiled then, because she did not marry Chief Williams thinking she would change him with tears. She married him knowing she would change him with strength. The next morning, the mansion woke up in fear again. The staff moved quietly. Plates clinked softly. Footsteps were careful. No one knew what mood Chief Williams would return with. Theresa came down the stairs dressed simply, her hair neatly packed. She greeted the maids with a warm smile. Good morning, she said. Some of them answered softly. Some only nodded. One young maid, Esther, hesitated, then rushed forward. Madam, she whispered. Please, be careful today. Theresa touched her shoulder gently. Thank you, she said. Just then, the sound of tires rolled into the compound. The black SUV. The gate opened. The car stopped. And Chief Williams stepped out. He looked perfect. Too perfect. His kaftan was spotless. His red cap sat neatly on his head. His face carried a smile, but it did not reach his eyes. Those eyes were cold. The staff bowed quickly. Good morning, sir, they said together. Chief Williams did not answer. His eyes locked on Theresa. For a moment, nobody moved. Then he walked toward her. Slow, controlled, dangerous. Good morning, my wife, he said calmly. Theresa met his gaze. Good morning, my husband. His lips twitched. You embarrassed me yesterday, Chief Williams said softly. You tried to slap me yesterday, Theresa replied. Silence. The air felt heavy. Chief Williams stepped closer. I am the man of this house, he said. I built this empire. Theresa nodded. Yes, and I am your wife, not your punching bag. A few staff members gasped softly. Chief Williams' smile disappeared. You think because you pushed me down once, you have power? He asked. Theresa took one step closer. Power is not slapping people. Power is controlling yourself. Chief Williams laughed loudly. The sound startled everyone. You are funny, he said. Very funny. Then his face turned serious. From today, he said, raising his voice so everyone could hear, no staff will listen to you without my permission. Theresa did not blink. And from today, she said calmly, no staff will be beaten in this house. The staff froze. Chief Williams stared at her in disbelief. Are you giving orders in my house? He asked sharply. Theresa shook her head. I am setting rules. Chief Williams' hand twitched again. The old habit, the old rage. Everyone watched his hand, watched his face, watched to see if history would repeat itself. Chief Williams slowly dropped his hand. He leaned closer to Theresa and whispered, You are pushing me. Theresa whispered back, Good. Chief Williams straightened up and turned to the staff. You are all dismissed, he snapped. The staff scattered quickly. Only Theresa and Chief Williams remained in the wide compound. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Chief Williams said quietly, You think you've won? Theresa answered, No, I think we've just started. Chief Williams smiled again, but this time, the smile was full of promise. A dangerous promise. That night, Theresa lay in bed wide awake. Chief Williams slept beside her, facing away. His breathing was steady, too steady. Theresa stared at the ceiling. She knew something was coming. She just did not know when, or how far Chief Williams was willing to go. Downstairs, a maid rushed into the security room. Sir, she whispered urgently. Madam Theresa just received a letter. The security man frowned. What kind of letter? The maid swallowed. It says, Power is not taken, it is crushed. And at the bottom of the letter was a warning. Tomorrow, everyone will choose a side. Theresa did not sleep that night. She sat on the edge of the bed, the letter spread open in her hands, the photograph resting on her lap like a heavy stone. The woman in the picture was thin, frightened, her eyes swollen from crying. Theresa recognized her immediately. Madame Rose, Chief Williams's second wife. Across the picture, the red words screamed like blood. This could be you. Theresa slowly folded the letter and placed it inside the drawer. Her breathing stayed steady, but her heart was loud in her chest. This was not a threat from a stranger. This was a message from someone close, someone watching. She turned her head and looked at Chief Williams sleeping beside her. His face was calm, relaxed, like a man with no worries in the world. His chest rose and fell evenly. Theresa studied him. Was he pretending? Or was this really how he slept after breaking people? She lay back down, turning her face to the other side, but her eyes stayed open until morning. By sunrise, the mansion felt different. Not quiet, tense, like a rope pulled too tight. The staff gathered in small groups, whispering. Some looked at Theresa with fear. Others looked at her with hope. A few avoided her eyes completely. The warning from the letter was spreading, even without words. Everyone could feel it. Something big was coming. Theresa walked through the house slowly, greeting people like she always did. But today, her smile did not hide the truth. She was watching. She was listening. In the kitchen, she found the cooks arguing in low voices. He will fire us, one said. But Madame Theresa is right, another whispered. We can't keep living like this. What if he sends soldiers? A third asked nervously. Theresa stepped in. The room went silent. She looked at them kindly. Nobody will be fired for telling the truth, she said. But madam, one cook began. Theresa raised her hand gently. Listen to me. No one should be beaten. No one should be humiliated. Not here. Not anywhere. The cooks exchanged nervous looks. One of them asked softly, Madam, are you not afraid? Theresa paused. Then she said the truth. I am afraid, but fear has ruled this house for too long. She walked out, leaving the cooks thinking. At exactly 10 a.m., Chief Williams called for a full house meeting. Everyone, staff, security, drivers, gardeners. Theresa stood at the back, calm and quiet. Chief Williams stood at the front, tall and confident, his voice smooth and strong. This house has rules, he began. Rules I built. His eyes moved slowly across the crowd. I have heard strange ideas recently, he continued. Ideas about disrespect, about control. Some staff shifted uneasily. Chief Williams smiled. Let me be clear. Anyone who cannot follow my ways is free to leave. The words hit the air like stones. Then he added, No salary will be paid to anyone who disobeys me. Gasps spread through the room. Theresa stepped forward. No, she said. The room froze. Chief Williams turned sharply. What did you say? Theresa stood beside him now, facing the staff. I said no, she repeated. You cannot starve people into silence. Chief Williams's jaw tightened. This is my house, he said through clenched teeth. Theresa looked straight at him. And this is my home. The staff watched, holding their breath. Chief Williams raised his voice. Anyone who supports my wife against me should step forward now. Nobody moved. Seconds passed. Sweat rolled down some faces. Then, something unexpected happened. The old gatekeeper stepped forward. Slowly. Carefully. My name is Musa, he said, his voice shaking. I have worked here for 20 years. Chief Williams stared at him. Go back to your place. Musa did not move. I have seen all your wives, Musa continued. I have seen staff cry. I have seen blood. Madame Theresa is the first person who spoke. Chief Williams's face darkened. Leave my house, he snapped. Then another person stepped forward. It was Esther, the young maid. I support Madame Theresa, she said, tears in her eyes. Another maid followed. Then a driver. Then a cook. Soon, half the room stood forward. Chief William's hands shook. You are all ungrateful, he shouted. I made you. Theresa spoke calmly. No, you employed them. You did not own them. Chief Williams turned to the security men. Arrest them. The guards hesitated. They looked at Theresa, then at Chief Williams. For the first time, they did not move immediately. Chief Williams' eyes widened in rage. You, he shouted at the head guard. Do your job. The guard swallowed. Sir, we are not police. Silence fell. Chief Williams realized something terrible in that moment. The fear was breaking, and fear was the only thing that had ever kept him powerful. His voice dropped low and dangerous. You think this ends here? Theresa met his eyes. I know it doesn't. Chief Williams stormed out of the room. Moments later, the sound of speeding cars echoed from the compound. That evening, rain poured heavily over the mansion. Thunder rolled across the sky. Theresa stood by the window, watching the rain wash the tiles clean. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Again. She answered slowly. Madame Theresa, a man's voice said. You don't know me. Then why are you calling? She asked. I used to work for your husband, the man said. I left because I didn't want to become like him. Theresa closed her eyes. What do you want? To warn you, he replied. Chief Williams has gone to see his father's old friends. Theresa stiffened. Men who believe women should be silent, the man continued. Men who believe power must be protected at all costs. The line went dead. Thunder cracked loudly outside. Theresa pressed her hand against the glass. She had shaken the house. But now, the house was shaking back. Behind her, the bedroom door creaked open slowly. Theresa turned around and saw Chief Williams standing there in the dim light, his face unreadable, his eyes cold. He closed the door gently behind him and said quietly, Tomorrow, you will wish you never stood up. Theresa did not step away. She did not scream. She did not beg. She looked at the document in Chief Williams's hand and then slowly lifted her eyes to his face. So, this is your next move, she said calmly. Chief Williams walked further into the room, the divorce papers folded neatly in his hand. The rain outside beat harder against the windows, like drums calling for war. You forced my hand, he replied. You embarrassed me in front of my staff. You turned my house into a courtroom. Theresa crossed her arms. No, you turned your house into a prison. I opened the doors. Chief Williams laughed, but there was no joy in it. You think walking away scares me? All my wives walked away. Theresa shook her head. They ran. I am not running. Chief Williams stopped walking. That sentence hit him harder than he expected. You don't scare me, Theresa continued. But I can see you are scared. Chief Williams' face darkened. I am not afraid of any woman. Theresa took a step closer. You are afraid of losing control. For a moment, he looked like he might explode. His hand tightened around the papers until they crumpled slightly. You want to destroy me, he said. I want to change you, Theresa replied. But if you refuse, I will expose you. That word expose hung in the air. Chief Williams stared at her. Expose me how? Theresa walked to the drawer beside the bed and pulled it open. She brought out the folded letter and the photograph. I am not the first woman you threatened, she said, and I will not be the last unless this stops. Chief Williams' eyes flickered when he saw the photograph. For the first time, something close to fear passed through his face. "You kept that?" he asked quietly. Theresa nodded. "I keep everything." Silence. Then Chief Williams smiled slowly. "You think papers and pictures can touch me," he said. "I own judges. I own police." Theresa answered calmly. "And I own my voice." Chief Williams turned away sharply. "You will regret this," he said. "Tomorrow you will understand who I really am." He dropped the divorce papers on the table and walked out of the room, slamming the door behind him. Theresa sat down on the bed slowly. Her hands finally began to shake, not because she was weak, but because she was human. The next morning came with heavy clouds. News spread fast inside the mansion. Chief Williams had called for lawyers, important ones. By noon, 2 black cars drove into the compound. Men in suits stepped out, holding files and briefcases. The staff whispered, "He wants to throw Madame Theresa out," someone said. Theresa walked down the stairs, dressed simply, her shoulders straight. She met the lawyers in the living room. Chief Williams sat at the head of the room, calm and confident again. "Sit," he said coldly. Theresa sat. One lawyer cleared his throat. "Madame Theresa, your husband has filed for immediate divorce and eviction." The word eviction hit the room like thunder. Theresa looked at Chief Williams. "You want me out?" "Yes," he replied. "Today." The staff listening from a distance gasped. Theresa smiled faintly. "Then listen carefully." The lawyers looked confused. Theresa reached into her handbag and brought out a brown envelope. She placed it gently on the table. "What is that?" Chief Williams asked sharply. Theresa slid it forward. "It is the reason you cannot throw me out," she said. The lawyer opened it. His eyes widened. He looked at Chief Williams. "Sir, this document states that Madame Theresa is a legal co-owner of this property." The room went silent. Chief Williams jumped to his feet. "That is impossible." Theresa stood too. "You signed it," she said calmly. 2 years ago, on our wedding night. You were drunk. You trusted me." Chief Williams' face turned pale. "You tricked me," he whispered. "No," Theresa said. "You underestimated me." The lawyer continued reading. "She also holds shares in the company, shares transferred legally." Chief Williams's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The power shifted again. Right there. The staff felt it. Chief Williams sat back down slowly, his confidence draining away. "This changes things," the lawyer said carefully. Theresa picked up the divorce papers and handed them back to Chief Williams. "Divorce me if you want," she said, "but you will not silence me, and you will not hurt anyone again." Chief Williams stared at her. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he laughed softly. A broken laugh. "You planned this," he said. Theresa answered honestly. "I prepared for it." The lawyers gathered their files. One of them whispered to Chief Williams, "Sir, we should talk privately." Chief Williams waved him away. "No," he said. "Leave us." The lawyers hesitated, then left the room. The staff remained hidden, listening. Chief Williams looked at Theresa with tired eyes. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. Theresa softened her voice. "I want you to stop." Chief Williams looked away. For the first time, his shoulders sagged, but pride still burned in his eyes. "You think this ends today," he said. "It doesn't." Theresa nodded. "I know." Chief Williams stood up slowly. "You may have won this round," he said, "but I will decide how this story ends." He walked out of the living room, leaving Theresa standing there. From the window, she watched him get into his car. This time, he did not slam the door. The engine roared. The car drove off. Theresa exhaled deeply, but her phone vibrated again. A message. Unknown number. She opened it. "The board meeting has been moved to tonight. Come alone, if you want the truth." Theresa's heart skipped. Board meeting? Truth? She looked at the message again. This was bigger than the house now. Much bigger. She grabbed her bag, because whatever Chief Williams was hiding was about to come into the open. The boardroom lights were too bright. Theresa felt it the moment she stepped inside. The long glass table reflected faces she had only seen in newspapers, directors, investors, old family friends, men who carried power like a second skin. At the head of the table sat Chief Williams, not angry, not shouting, just quiet. That alone frightened her. "Sit," he said calmly. Theresa sat. The room smelled of expensive perfume and tension. One of the directors cleared his throat. "We are here because this company is bleeding from the inside," he said. "And it is not money that is the problem." All eyes slowly turned to Chief Williams. He stood up. For a moment, Theresa thought he would deny everything. But he didn't. Instead, he surprised everyone. "I built this company with fear," Chief Williams said quietly. "And fear has finally turned against me." Murmurs filled the room. Theresa's eyes widened slightly. This was not the man she knew. "I beat my staff into silence," he continued. "I beat my wives into running. I learned it from my father. I watched him break my mother until she believed she was nothing." His voice cracked. The room went still. "I told myself I was strong," he said. "But I was only repeating a curse." Theresa felt her chest tighten. Chief Williams turned and looked at her. "And then I married a woman who did not run." The directors followed his gaze. "She embarrassed me," he said. "Yes, she humiliated me. But she also saved me from becoming a monster I could no longer recognize." One director whispered, "Is this a joke?" Chief Williams shook his head. "No, this is the truth." He turned back to the table. "From today, this company will have new rules. No abuse, no violence. Any staff harmed by me will be compensated. Any manager who copies my old behavior will be removed." Silence. Then one man slowly began to clap. Then another. Soon, the room filled with applause, not loud, but heavy with meaning. Theresa's eyes filled with tears. Not because she had won, but because she had finally been heard. Change did not come overnight, but it came. Slowly, surely. Chief Williams stopped slapping staff. He started apologizing, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes with shame burning in his eyes. Some people forgave him, some did not. He accepted that too. Theresa stayed, not because she was trapped, but because she chose to. 2 years later, the mansion felt different. Lighter, kinder. Laughter returned to the compound. And one quiet morning, a baby's cry echoed through the house. A baby girl. Theresa held her close, tears streaming down her face. Chief Williams stood beside the bed, shaking. "What is her name?" he asked softly. Theresa smiled. "Juliet." Chief Williams nodded, his voice breaking. "She will never fear her father." 10 years later, the mansion garden glowed with lights. Guests filled the space, business leaders, staff past and present, friends, family. It was their 10th wedding anniversary. Chief Williams stood on the stage holding a microphone. His hair had grayed slightly. His shoulders no longer carried rage. Theresa stood beside him. Juliet, now a bright-eyed little girl, held her mother's hand. Chief Williams swallowed hard. "I used to think power was shouting," he said. "I used to think respect came from fear." The crowd listened closely. "I watched my father destroy my mother," he continued. "And instead of hating him, I became him." A hush fell. "But this woman," he said, turning to Theresa, "stood up to me when everyone else ran. She showed me that strength can kneel." Tears rolled down his face freely. "I am not proud of who I was," he said, "but I am grateful for who I am becoming." He dropped the microphone and embraced Theresa. Juliet wrapped her arms around both of them. The crowd stood and clapped long and loud. Not for wealth, not for power, but for transformation. Theresa closed her eyes as she held her family. Because sometimes the greatest victory is not leaving. It is staying long enough to change what tried to destroy you. What if your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you enjoyed this story, comment, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.